Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Darian and today we're going to be doing a little bit of a challenge. So I've decided, since I'm finished school, I don't know if you guys heard, I just talk about it in every video, but I recently finished grad school and I currently don't have a job lined up, so I have a lot of free time and I decided to take advantage of that free time by trying to catch up with my reading goal. So this year my goal is to read 100 books. I've never done it before. The most I've ever read was 86 or 87, I think. I don't know why I think this year I can do it, because I'm already 5 books behind schedule. That is definitely because of school. I was not reading a lot over the past few months. So this week I am doing a challenge to hopefully catch up with my Goodreads goal a bit. And I mean, I'm sure you could tell by the title of this video, but that is to read 100 pages every day for a week. So I probably read on average like 50 or 60 pages a day. Some days I read way more, obviously. Some days I don't read at all. So this week I want to be consistent and read 100 pages a day. And so the book that we're starting with is Only This Beautiful Moment by Abdi Nazemian. I love this author so much. His book, The Channel Legacies, is one of my favorite books ever. I love that book. And I have already started this. I'm only on page 65. So I haven't read yet today. It is Monday morning. I do have a doctor's appointment later, but aside from that, I don't have anything else going on today. I will bring this with me in case it's a long wait at the doctor's office. I don't know if I'll be able to focus on reading because I'm stressed, because I always get stressed at the doctor's, but this book is following 3 different boys in the same family. So I'm pretty sure you're following each of them when they're 17 years old. So first of all, it's in 2019, you're following Mood, who lives in Los Angeles, but he is traveling back to Iran with his father because his grandfather is dying. Mood is out to his father, he's gay, and his father accepts him, but he doesn't like to talk about feelings very much, and so Mood feels very isolated from his father, and he doesn't quite feel accepted by him for his sexuality. Mood also is in a relationship with a boy who is very like out and proud and is really pushing for Mood to be the same way, but he is very introverted and really wants to keep to himself. He's nervous about traveling to Iran because queer people have been discriminated against, I mean like everywhere, but especially in this country, so he's very nervous about traveling there. So is his boyfriend. Then in 1978 we follow Saeed, which is Mood's father, and he lives in Tehran in Iran. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing these names wrong. I should look them up. I'll just read what this says because I don't know how to explain it. But his parents discover his involvement in the country's burgeoning revolution. They send him to safety in America, a country Saeed despises, and even worse, he's forced to live with the American grandmother he never knew existed. I've only read one chapter from each perspective so far, but Saeed has already gone to a protest against the government of Iran, and he met a girl and he thinks she's very pretty. That's all that's happened with him. And then in 1939, we have Bobby, who is Mood's grandfather and Saeed's father, who's living in Los Angeles, and his mom is like a Hollywood stage mom, and she really wants to get her son into the limelight, get him into films, and like that's not really his dream, but he's just kind of doing whatever his mom says. Also, I'm pretty sure each boy in their own timeline is 17 years old. And yeah, so it also says, set against the backdrop of Tehran and Los Angeles, the sweeping tale of intergenerational trauma and love is an ode to the fragile bonds of family, the hidden secrets of history, and all the beautiful moments that make us who we are today. So I'm very excited to get into this. Like I said, I've only read one chapter from each perspective so far, but a lot of it has already seemed very relevant to things going on in our world today, so I think it's going to be just a great story, and I love Abdi Nazemian's writing, so I'm very excited to read this. So this is the first book for this week, and it is I think it's almost, yeah, it's 387 pages, so almost 400 pages. So realistically, since I've already read about 60 pages, I should get this done within 3 days if I read 100 pages a day. Maybe I can even read more than 100 pages, who knows? But yeah, so this is the first book I'm starting in this video, and hopefully we start off strong and complete our challenge for today. So hopefully I can read a bit at the doctor's office, and then I'll definitely do some more reading later. 2 of this challenge. I did successfully read 100 pages yesterday of Only This Beautiful Moment. I got to page 170 and I think I started at 65. Yes, so I read 105 pages yesterday, but I am now like about halfway through this book, so I am really enjoying this. I will say I don't think, for some reason, the writing doesn't feel as strong as in his 2 other books that I read, but the plot is really interesting, and I find this book is making me think a lot. Like the conversations that it brings up, like last night I was reading and I was just like sitting there and thinking about it. Unfortunately, I left all 100 pages to read until last night. I don't know why I did that. I didn't end up reading anything in the waiting room at the doctor's because I was too stressed. And then I just played Switch when I got home, and I watched Grey's Anatomy, and that was a whole thing because I finished season 12 last night, I think, and it was kind of crazy. But then it was like 9 o'clock and I was like, I have to read these 100 pages. But this reads very quickly. So we've mostly been following Mood's perspective, who he is the one in 2019, which I think is supposed to be like the present day, but I guess he made it 2019 probably to avoid dealing with the pandemic. So Mood is now in Iran with his dad and his grandfather, and I think I mentioned this when I updated yesterday, but Mood is gay and he has a boyfriend, and his father knows that he's gay. He doesn't really like to talk about his sexuality. Like, he accepts his son, but he's not the type of person to talk about feelings in general. And Mood only really came out to his dad because of his boyfriend, because his boyfriend Shane is very open. He kind of pressured Mood into coming out because he's like, why wouldn't you want to live as your most authentic self? And almost like made him feel bad for not coming out to his dad, so he did. His dad is just not comfortable talking about feelings, and so it often talks about like Mood's boyfriend who thinks that he should like cut his dad off completely because he doesn't accept his sexuality. But it's not so much that he doesn't accept it, he just doesn't talk about it. And Mood is often defending his dad to his boyfriend, but then his boyfriend's like, why would you take your dad's side when he doesn't even accept you and I accept you? And his boyfriend is very intense, as you can probably tell, and he's very like, he has a podcast, and they discuss like basically all the problems with America, and he's like very open about his opinions, and Mood is not. He's very introverted. He doesn't really like talking about himself. He doesn't like to get too involved. He just kind of wants to keep to himself. And so there's a lot of discussion about like, he doesn't feel ashamed of who he is as a gay man, but he doesn't feel the need to like let everyone know that he's gay, especially now that he's in Iran. And before he left, his boyfriend was like, why would you go somewhere where like they wouldn't accept you if they knew who you were? And he's like, well, you know, I'm going to visit my grandfather who's dying, and that's where my family comes from. And then while he's in Iran, he meets his like second cousin or something, and she's like, oh, come out to this party tonight. And they go to this party, which ends up being like a party for queer people to get together in hiding. And Mood experiences this and is like, he's never felt a sense of community as he does at this party. And then he talks to his boyfriend about it, and his boyfriend's like, how could you feel that way in a country that wouldn't accept you if they knew the truth? And like, how could you feel that way in a country that's trying to oppress you? I don't know if I'm explaining everything properly, but, and Mood is like, well, you know, I'm with people who look like me. Sheena's like, well, you're American, you're born in America, like our cultures are not different. And Mood is like, well, yes, they are. I am American, but I'm also Iranian. And there was also a conversation they had near the beginning. Let's see if I can find it, because there's a lot that they discuss in this book that is very relevant to what's going on in the world today. Let's see if I can find it. It was near the beginning, I think. Oh yeah, so before Mood goes to Iran, him and Shane are talking about it. And Mood decides to delete a lot of posts from his social media because he just wants to be careful when he goes to Iran. He doesn't want people to find out that he's gay. Shane is like, why would you go somewhere where you would feel ashamed, blah, blah, blah. And Mood is asking Shane to like delete posts that Mood is tagged in, or like just untag him in those photos. And like one of the pictures he brings up is like at a protest against Chick-fil-A, and Mood says, "I'm just being careful." And then Shane says, "Isn't it weird that you protested a chicken sandwich, but you're gonna be visiting a country that..." And then Mood says, "Stop please, I plead. This isn't about politics, it's about my grandfather. And even if it was about politics, then things are more complicated than boycotting everything we don't like. I mean, our whole economy revolves around oil from countries with horrible human rights records. We arm countries who are dropping bombs all over the Middle East. What does protesting a chicken sandwich accomplish in the grand scheme of things?" And then they continue to fight about this, and I really liked that part because, especially with social media, when people are like protesting for a certain cause, there's often a lot of judgments towards how other people protest the same cause. And in my opinion, I don't think everything is always like so black and white. I don't think there's a right way to properly support a cause or protest against something. And I mean, this is like just a conversation that I think is important to have, because obviously I don't have all the answers, but I think it's always just more complicated than that, and Mood is just experiencing a lot of different feelings. And yes, he's in a country where I think they said it's illegal to be gay, but that doesn't change the fact that he feels a sense of community when he finds a community of queer people in Iran who are Iranian and that look like him. And it's just always, I think it's just always more complicated. Nothing is black and white, and I really like that this book is talking about that. I don't know if anything I said made sense, but I just really like that this book is making me think a lot about these issues, and I think it's just, Mood is a really interesting character. And so we've mostly been in his perspective, and then there's also his dad's perspective in 1978, and he goes to this protest against the Iranian government. The protest turns violent, and so to keep him safe, his parents send him to America to live with his grandmother. And so Saeed just got to America, and he's just acclimating to this new life that he has to live. And so I think where this book is going is that there's a lot of talk about how like Saeed in the present day doesn't like to talk about his emotions, and now I think we're finding out that it's because of everything he went through when he was Mood's age. And then we're also gonna get the perspective of the grandfather, who I think I've only read one chapter from so far, so I don't know much about his story. But it's just a very interesting book. Like, I love Abdi Nazemian's stories because they always just make me think about the world and things that are going on. And of course, what they're talking about in this book is very relevant to what's happening today in Palestine. And so I think this is a really great read. Like I said, I don't feel like the writing itself is as strong as his other books. The story I find really captivating, and I'm very excited to keep reading it. So, okay, I had to change my battery, so sorry if the angle changed a bit. But I haven't done any reading yet today. It is almost 2:30. So I don't know, I've done a lot today already. I started editing a video, I worked out, I made myself lunch, I watched one episode of Grey's Anatomy, I cleaned a little bit. So I don't know if I want to keep editing and then read, or maybe just read. It's also really nice out today, so I kind of want to sit outside and read. I keep having to stop because the garbage truck is going by and Lazo doesn't like it. So I'm trying to end this clip. Basically, I'm either gonna go edit or read or do both. I think I will edit a bit more, and then I'll try not to leave all 100 pages for the end of the day. So I'm starting on page 1, which means I have to get to page 270. And then I will be 100 pages away from the end of this book, which is great. So I'm gonna go. You probably hear all the trucks and Laszlo, so I'm gonna go. Okay, bye. This is the best I can do in terms of the lighting, because Laszlo is currently lying in the prime spot where my camera should be to have good lighting. So we're just gonna deal with this. But hello, it is Wednesday, day 3 of this challenge. Yesterday went very well. I got to my 100 pages. I read, I think, exactly 100 pages because I had a really bad headache for like the second half of the day. So I pretty much just read the 100 pages and then went to sleep. And so today I knew my goal was to finish this book because I ended on page like 170 and there, not 170, 270, and there's about 390 pages in this book. So I was like, might as well read 120 pages. So I did read a lot today actually because it's been a pretty cozy rainy day. So this morning I edited a video for a bit, and then I watched some booktube, and then I just sat down and read a bunch. So I've already read, let's try to do the math. I'm on page 348. So I've read about 80, yes, I've read about 80 pages already today, and I only have this much left of the book, so I'm just gonna finish it. But I'm continuing to really love this book. I still don't think it's gonna be a 5-star just because, like I said yesterday, the writing just doesn't feel up to par with the 2 other books I've read from him. I don't know why, I don't know how to explain it. I think it might be because this book is written in 3 perspectives, and while I love seeing the 3 different perspectives, I really like reading Mood's perspective the most, and then I do love reading the other 2 perspectives, but I also like feel like I just wish we were back with Mood. But I know that this book, like for this book to work, you also need the perspective of his father and grandfather when they were younger. But like I was saying yesterday, this book just really makes me think a lot. Like every time I pick this book up, I just like sit there for a bit and think about all the themes that are brought up in this book. And I think really the message this book is trying to convey is just that like humans are complicated and there isn't always like a right or wrong answer to everything. There isn't always good or bad. There's a lot of like gray area in between, and I think that's a really beautiful message because I feel like as human beings, we are so quick to judge other people based on what we know about them when we are really only seeing like the surface and we don't get the full picture, and it's just so quick to judge other people. And I of course am guilty of that because I think everybody is. I think all of us judge each other based on what we know about a person, but we'll never really know a person and what they've gone through. Laszlo has had enough. But yeah, we'll never really know a person, and I think this book is just trying to say to lead your life with empathy and compassion. Like that's what I'm getting from this book, and it's really making me feel a lot because I feel like I'm getting to know these characters so well, and even though I don't agree with all of their opinions and all the decisions they've made, I just feel a lot of empathy and compassion towards them, and I think that's the point of this book, and I think that's really beautiful. So I continue to really like this book. Right now I think it's going to be a 4-star, but I do recommend this to everybody. There's a lot of discussions about racism and homophobia, and also mentions of suicide, so just know that before you go into it. I have a feeling it's gonna be a 4-star. We'll see. But I mean, this author is so underrated, and like it's weird to say because this book won the Stonewall Book Award, and I feel like I never see anybody, actually I don't think I've seen any booktuber talk about this book. So here we are, here it is. Also, The Channel Legacy is one of my favorite books. I just feel like this is a really special book, and I'm really enjoying it. It did make me cry earlier, but it's making me think a lot, and I love when a book can do that. So my plan for the rest of the night is to finish this, and I will obviously complete the 100 pages for today because I'm only 20 pages away and I'd like to finish it anyways, and that'll bring me to at least 120 pages. I don't know if I'll start my next book tonight or tomorrow. I do have a bit of a busy day tomorrow because I have another appointment in the morning, so I will bring a book in case I read in the waiting room, but we'll see if that happens. And then tomorrow night I'm going to see a show that some of my friends are in. They're doing a production of Heathers, which I'm really excited about because I love Heathers. So I have a bit of a busier day tomorrow, but I'll still try to get my 100 pages done. I'm thinking that since this is such like a serious read and is making me think a lot, I think my next book needs to be something a lot lighter, a lot of fluff, and maybe some fairy smut. So I might pick up Akamath next because that is on my TBR for the month. I'm not super excited to read it, but I don't know. I'll read it eventually, so why not now? So that might be my next book, but I'll let you know whatever I decide. We'll see. I'll try to check in tomorrow, but since my day is a bit busier, I may not. But I'll be honest about how many pages I read. So I'm gonna go finish this. Well, first I might watch Grey's Anatomy, to be honest. But then I will finish this. And then we'll see what I start next. This angle could be better. I recognize that. Also, this plant is very funny to me. But anyways, hi. It is, what day is it? Friday now, so day 5 of this challenge. I did not update yesterday, but we'll get to that in a minute. But as predicted, I did finish Only This Beautiful Moment Wednesday night. The book is upstairs. I'm too lazy to get it, but you remember what it looks like. And I mean, my thoughts stayed the same till the end. I thought it was just a really beautiful story, and I really loved also the author's note at the end. Definitely made me emotional. I just thought it was such a great book, and I hope more people pick it up because his books are usually pretty underrated. I feel like everyone reads like a love story, but I like his other books a lot too. So anyways, I'll read anything he writes. This one, like I said, I found the writing wasn't as strong as his other books. I'm not sure why. So I gave it 4 stars just because it didn't like give me that 5-star feeling, even though like the message of the book was 5-star worthy. But the writing, there's just something about it that kind of held me back. I think it might have been the 3 perspectives, because while I loved reading from the 3 perspectives, the narrative just kind of felt a little disjointed. I don't know. I still loved it, and I highly recommend it. And then yesterday happened. So yesterday I got very sidetracked because of Miss Taylor Swift, because yesterday she had her first show back on the Eras tour, because how long has it been? It's been a few months break, and it's the first show since releasing TTPD. And so we were all like, what is she gonna do? She's probably gonna add it to the set list. How is she gonna add it? Is she gonna remove other things from the set list? So my plan was to watch like a bit of the live stream just to see where she added TTPD and which songs she did. You guys, I basically had a panic attack for like 3.5 hours. I ended up watching the whole live stream because I think like Lover was normal, but then she took out The Archer. I'm so sorry to everyone who does not care about Taylor Swift. But when she took out The Archer, that's when I was like, oh my god, things are gonna be different. And then it was still Fearless after, but then after Fearless it was Red instead of Evermore. So I don't think I even realized that she would like move around the order of the eras. So that's what she did. She took a few songs out, she combined Folklore and Evermore, and then she had the TTPD set, which was amazing. And so I ended up watching the whole thing because I just couldn't stop. So yeah, all that to say, I mean, like I mentioned, I think I mentioned the other day, yesterday morning I had an appointment. Then I watched this whole live show, and then I went to see a show last night. So all that to say, I didn't read yesterday. I did listen to a bit of my audiobook, but I'm not counting my audiobook for this challenge just because I don't I don't know how many pages it is. So I read no physical pages yesterday. So that, you know, I had a feeling there would be one day where I didn't read 100 pages, but like I didn't read at all yesterday, which is unfortunate. So my hope for today, if I can, is to make up for it and read 200 pages. Honestly, I don't know if that's gonna happen. I am not a fast reader. I know some people can just sit down and like read a whole book in a few hours. I am not that kind of person. I have decided I will start Akamath next just because I need like something fluffy, something easy to read after the last book, because that was a lot of thinking and I don't think I will have to think a lot during Akamath. So I'll need to read like a summary of ACOTAR because it's been a few years since I read it. But yeah, that'll be my next book, which is very different from the book I just read, but I have that one on my Kindle. But I still would like to keep editing the video I'm editing. It's my April vlog, which will probably be up before this. I mean, I still have a decent amount of it to edit. It's gonna be a long video and I want to get that up but if I spend the rest of the day editing that, then I doubt I'll read the 200 pages. So I don't know. All that to say is I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm definitely gonna try to read at least 100 pages, and if I just failed one day, then so be it. I mean, I did read more than 100 pages the other day. So all that to say is today I'm gonna try to read 200 pages. We'll see, and I will let you know about my thoughts on ACOMAF once I'm a decent of the way through. My expectations are not high. I did not love ACOTAR. I think, honestly, my favorite, I mean, I haven't finished it, but my favorite SJM series is Throne of Glass, even though I've only read 3 of those books. But I do want to go back to the beginning and then read them all. Anyways, you guys don't care. So I'm gonna start that at some point today, but I think for now I'll just edit a bit and we'll see what happens. My boyfriend's also supposed to come over later, so we'll see what happens. But also, I didn't mention, it's already 2 o'clock. I've edited a little bit today, but I also worked out and I walked Laszlo. Now I'm sitting down and I'm being productive, okay? So anyways, I'm just stalling. I'm gonna go now and I'll see you tomorrow. It is Saturday, day 6 of this challenge. And I'm just gonna come right out and say it. I failed yesterday. I only read like 42 pages or something. Remember when I said I'd try to read 200 pages? That did not happen. So I think I'm just gonna say that like the past 2 days were a fail, and I'm not gonna try to like make up for those days or anything. I'm just gonna try again today to read 100 pages. So it is around 7? Yeah, it's around 7 o'clock. I was working all day today, so I haven't had the chance to read yet. So my plan is tonight to get my 100 pages done. I'll probably honestly play a bit of Switch first because I started playing Cozy Grove again, which maybe is a mistake. But also I feel like it's good because like you have your daily activities that you do, and then once you're done your activities, like you have to wait till tomorrow. And I know I could time travel, but I won't, I promise. I'm just gonna play it a bit, so I'm not gonna like lose hours playing it or anything. And then I will read, and I did in fact start ACOMAF yesterday. I don't really have any thoughts. I watched a YouTube video that like summarized what happened in the first book, and like most of it came back to me. So I feel like I remember what's important, and also like the book has already kind of recapped stuff that happened at the end of ACOTAR, so I think I'm fine. I cannot like this book could not be more different than the last book I read, and I'm already kind of confused about the world building and all the High Lords and whatever, but anyways, we'll see. I'm going in with an open mind. I don't think I'm gonna love it or anything, but I'm just hoping for a silly goofy time at this point because my last read was so heavy, and I think if I want to keep going with this challenge today and tomorrow, then I need something that I can read fast, and hopefully that's this. So yeah, so I'm gonna go just hang out for the rest of the night and hopefully read 100 pages, and then I'll read another 100 tomorrow, and then this challenge will be done, which is great. So let's just hope for the best.
Several days later.
I don't want to talk about it. 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 Okay. Hello. It is Wednesday. It's Wednesday of the next week. Listen, this vlog kind of fell off the rails. I don't know. Can you tell I'm not naked, but this is very similar to my skin tone, so I promise. Anyway, so yeah, this vlog kind of fell off the rails. Let me get you up to speed on what has happened. I'm pretty sure the last time I updated this vlog was Saturday night. So Saturday night I did not read 100 pages. I think I read about 50 pages. And then Sunday I was like, oh, I'm gonna finish this vlog off strong and finish the week with 100 pages. That did not happen. Sunday I really did not feel well, hence why, I mean, I did read a bit. I don't remember how many pages, definitely not 100, and I didn't end the vlog or anything. I just was not feeling great. And then Monday I was like, okay, I'm just gonna add an extra day to this week pretend, you know, one of the days didn't count. And I actually did read 100 pages on Monday, but I didn't vlog anything because I still kind of didn't feel great. And then yesterday I just forgot to end this video. So here we are today, Wednesday of the next week. So this vlog was kind of a flop. I did not complete the challenge. However, I did read more last week than I have been reading in a week lately. So I call that a win. I mean, the purpose of this challenge was to read more, and I did read more. Did I read 100 pages a day? No. I did not do that. But just to update you on Akamath, I'm now, I think, 250 pages in. I'm kind of eating it up. Like, it's definitely silly goofy, but one thing I forgot about, and one thing I think that SJM does really well, is writing about mental health, because at the end of the first book, I do remember that Feyre experienced a lot of trauma, and she is now dealing with the aftermath of that trauma, the traumatic events that she was put through at the end of the first book. In a lot of, especially like YA fantasy, I know this isn't really YA, it's more new adult, but especially in YA fantasy, these main characters go through like absolutely horrible things, and then like they start the next book and they're fine, and it's on to the next adventure. And I do remember this with the Throne of Glass books. Like, she really goes through the characters processing their trauma and what they went through, and experiencing panic attacks and experiencing triggers, and I do really appreciate that. So I think that's well written. The world building, I don't know what's going on a lot of the time. I don't know where we are. I will say I can't believe I'm saying this, I kind of love Reset. I never thought I would utter those words. Tamlin, Mr. Tam Tam, he can choke. He can choke. I never really liked him. Like, in the first book, you're kind of made to like him, but I knew most people didn't like him, so I was like, I'm not impressed with you. I'm not impressed. And now I'm really not impressed. So, Resend, I can't believe I'm saying that, but yeah. So I'm having a great time with the book. I think it's a lot of fun, except for, you know, the PTSD that is occurring. That's not so fun, but I do like meeting these new characters. I'm interested to see where it goes. Everyone has been telling me, like, don't get your hopes up because this is the best book in the series. I'm keeping that in mind. So in this vlog, I read, well, basically the whole of Only This Beautiful Moment, and then I read like 40% of Akamath. So not too shabby, not too shabby. So yeah, was this vlog a success? Technically no, but I have been reading a lot, and I've been reading some good books. So that's what matters. Also, don't mind the look of my hair right now. I just showered, obviously. But yeah, anyways, I feel like this vlog is so uninteresting because I did not complete the challenge, but I'm still gonna post it because I tried, and that's what matters. So I'll probably try to do this again one day, maybe when I'm, you know, further away from school. I think that's still affecting my brain a little bit. That's it. If you watch till the end, leave. What should we leave? Here, I'm gonna open this to a random page, and whatever item I see. Pants! Is there a pants emoji? If there's a pants emoji, leave the pants emoji. The next word is shoes. So if there's no pants emoji, leave shoes. Leave any type of clothing, but especially pants. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon with another video soon. Bye!